everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I had a couple of requests to make a video on how I make my samples for my customers from Scentsy wax. And in particular, these are samples of our bricks. So you all might have seen my video from yesterday, and also many other consultant videos are out currently. We received our set of 5 holiday bricks for 2021, and I'm showing you right here Sweet Orange Pomander, which is a spicy red hot cinnamon orange mixture. So, and there are 4 others, so check out the previous video to learn more about those scents. So what I'd like to tell you today is in a little bit more detail how I make these samples. So you can see before you the molds that I use. I make snap bars and then I divide them into 6. So these snap bars are actually chocolate. There's a little wax on here from the last, but inside is clean. I wash them in between. These are actually chocolate molds. They are silicone. They are very flexible and they're fairly thin. So I got these off of Amazon, and I will link that in the description box below. So basically it's a process of heating up a couple of the large cubes from a brick in a measuring cup in the microwave, and it takes 2 to 2.5 minutes. I have a dedicated measuring cup that I use for this. Then after it's completely melted, and for that you need, first of all, clean hands. Always wash before you're going to deal with wax that you're going to send to people. Then I typically put on these little cotton gloves. These are gardening gloves. I put these on, and then on top of those, when I'm handling the measuring cup, I also use oven mitts. I melt them, I pour the wax into the silicone mold, and then it looks like these, and it hardens. It takes, I don't know, I usually give it about half an hour to an hour. So I go do other things while the wax is hardening. And then you just bring it out of the mold, and I'll show you how I do that. I'm going to do it in steps, and it ends up looking like this. So this is one that's come out of the mold, and it has, I can pick this up, but it has, as you can see, there are 6 by 4. So there are 26 little rectangles here. And typically I cut this, I score it lengthwise and then twice in the other direction. So that it's the customer sample for these bricks, I'm going to give people a small rectangle of 4 smaller rectangles, and they're going to get 1 of each for the 5 cents. Now just a word here, and then I put those in these little bags, and I also got these from Amazon, and I could link those as well in the description box. So they fit very nicely in those little bags. Just a word, another way to make samples is to use these small felts, which say Scentsy. I bought these from Scentsy. These are really nice, and it ends up looking like, if you have to melt the wax in some way. You could use a microwave. I typically do those in a tea light, and then you use a tweezer to dip this little fellow. This one is Palo Santo, and I used a small sticker to write that on. You take a tweezer, dip it in the wax, set it on, again, parchment paper, let it dry, and then put that in a little bag. Now, these samples, this is a widely used way, and I like these. For Bring Back My Bar, I will probably still use these because you have 25 cents then with Bring Back My Bar, and just for the sheer volume of wax needed, I will probably use these because I won't be buying in that kind of quantity. And there is some consideration to the cost, of purchasing. Like if I'm going to buy these bricks, that's a lot of wax for me, and so I am happy to make larger samples. The benefit to the customer is if with a larger sample like this, you're going to be able to get a better idea of throw, longevity, and so on. Where this little kind of sample, this will give you a good idea of the scent. It'll last about an hour or 2 in a melter, but it's not going to be the same as melting an actual cube of wax. It won't last as long. It may not fit in all. I have a customer who uses exclusively tea light melters for her wax, and these don't fit very well in there. So she is not a big fan of these. And again, they're just not going to give you more than an hour or two of fragrance. But it's still something I will use, particularly for Bring Back My Bar. So, how to get started. So I'm going to try to show you the steps here without making this super long. So anytime I'm going to handle raw wax, I put these little cotton gloves on. So the last one I need to do today is Sweet Orange Pomander, as mentioned. Now to fill one of these little silicone molds, I'm using 2 of these squares. And it's probably a little more than I would actually need, but that's working out pretty well for me. So let me pull this out of here. So here we have what remains. The rest of it I made samples from yesterday. I'm going to break this, and then I'm going to take, this is the bottom row, okay, and there's our little scent categories. I'm going to take off this one, and then this is what I'm going to use to make one silicone mold, which will result in 6 customer samples. So this I'm going to put into my dedicated measuring cup, and I'm going to go off to my microwave, taking my oven mitts with me, because when this comes out of the microwave, let me tell you, it is quite hot, and these little cotton gloves aren't enough. So I'm going to pause, and I'm going to go off and microwave that for 2 to 2.5 minutes, and I'll be right back, and then we'll pour. I'm not sure if I paused or if I am still recording. I'm sitting on the floor. Yep, I'm still recording. Okay, let me pause. I often have trouble with this pause button. Hello, I am back. I was struggling with the pause button there before. So I'm putting my oven mitt back on because I had to push the pause button and I needed my skin to touch the screen. So here we have the melted wax, and it's interesting, these don't all melt at the same speed. The fluffy fleece took all of 2.5 minutes, and this one took just over 2 minutes. So it's interesting. The melting points must be different based upon the ingredients. So now I think I'm in frame here. I'm going to move this over just a tad so you can see this. Okay, so you need to do this with purpose so that it doesn't dribble all over. Of course, I still could do that. There we are. Make sure it gets in there evenly. And I just take my time with it. And there you go. Couple bubbles and they'll resolve themselves. Okay, and there it is. Now I will take this and wipe it out, and I will do that when we're finished here. When it's hot, it's much easier to wipe it out, obviously, because it's liquid then. So this is going to take a little while, and I usually weight this corner down. I have a little flashlight here. Okay, so that's how you pour that. So I'm going to come back around, and then I'll show you. It'll take a while then, maybe half an hour to an hour. I have put them in the freezer before, but these are very flexible, so that isn't always as simple a process. I wait until they harden. I have put them in the freezer, but then when I score them, they make more little bits. So I prefer to just let them dry at room temperature, let them harden at room temperature. And when they do, then I can show you what it's like to bring them out of these molds. So you just turn this over, trying not to knock into the one I just poured. Okay. And I'm wondering, let me make sure I have this in frame properly so you can see these. Okay. I think that's right. Okay. There we then now look how satisfying this is. You just bring it up, pull it off, and there it is. Then this I'll go wash, not at the moment, but that I just use Dawn dish soap. Try and flick off any obvious bits. Dawn dish soap, let it soak for a little bit, because some of these, particularly the pomander one, which is why I did that last, the scent really hung on to the silicone. Look how satisfying this is. It's just lovely to peel them off. And there you have it. So this is the eggnog one, the vanilla cinnamon maple, fluffy fleece, pink poinsettia, and then the spiced orange pomander. So there they are. So then I'm going to go ahead and score one of these and break it apart so you can see how we do that. So for this I'm using an X-Acto knife, and I'm hoping you can see this. I'm sitting on the floor because it's just easier here. Okay, so I'm using this X-Acto knife, which is quite sharp. So again, you know, be cautious, be careful, and use gloves. All right, so you just follow the lines, and you don't have to go all the way through. This is just enough to score it, and then you're going to be able to snap it apart. And again, since this isn't real cold, I'm not making a lot of little bits of wax, which, wow, when they were frozen, I mean, even so, you can see a little bit will come off. And I'll just tidy that up. There we go. Put that back over here because I don't want to cut myself. All right, then I'm going to just snap this, and then the other direction. Okay. And we end up with 6 samples from each of those little molds. Now, following that, I'm going to put them in a little bag. And this is the only time well, before I do that, I'm going to take each of these and just kind of wipe it to make sure all those, you know, I want it to look tidy, right? And it does get little bits from when you scored it. So it's not the end of the world, and I certainly, if I received something with a bit on it, I wouldn't get upset. But I like to make it look, you know, neat. So this, you just take each one and clean it off a little bit, make it look better. And hope you're not getting more on the others while you do it, as I was just doing. So just kind of tidy it up, and then afterwards I always sweep the floor, wipe this whole area up. But there you go. All right, now this is the only time you're going to see me touch the wax, and I did wash my hand before I put it into the glove, but I'm hoping this is still in frame. Okay, this is just not a simple matter to do with the gloves on, so this is the only time. I'll just pick this up, slip it in, and there you go. Make sure the air comes out of it, and there you have your sample. And you saw, I believe you saw earlier the ones that I assembled yesterday. I'm going to go over and take another look at that for you. So give me a second. So anyway, this is how it is. Then you just repeat. And then the one thing with this now, there's no stickers. So I will get little stickers similar. For this one, I'm going to use stickers like you see here on the Palo Santo one. So I can get those from Amazon also, and they're arriving tomorrow. And then I just write the name on there. Now, I'm sure I could do a template of some kind in a printer and make my own labels. So that might be something I do, but I don't want to get real involved. There are many, many samples that we have to make. So now, one thing Scentsy does sell to us consultants, I thought I had brought some in here, but I guess I didn't. We do get scratch and sniff stickers that we can put on these little bags for scent of the month. And those are wonderful. But for bricks, we didn't have that option. So I'm just going to make my own little handwritten stickers. And then on a separate page, I'm going to write all the scent notes and Xerox that for each customer. So they have a little card to reference the scent notes. So let me just show you then the finished product. Try not to kick over my camera here. Okay, let me pull this off of here, hopefully without ruining this. Okay, this is my workroom. This is all my Scentsy products. So if I do a local show, local party, piano, and then over here, so there we have the 5 sample sets that I made yesterday and the other 4 bricks. So that's it. I hope this was interesting and helpful. Again, I will link the silicone bars down below, where to order those, and also the little baggies. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe button, and so we can see more of one another. And until next time, hug your families. Take care. Bye for now.